AMAD. AMAD, you little tease. Social media meltdown last night, United fans, as AMAD drops cryptic clue as to possible return date for Manchester United, and it is sooner than you think. We did a show on this not too long ago, reading between the lines and what's actually happening and what could be coming, and now AMAD has dropped the bomb. Well, it's a good bomb anyway for the rest of the Premier League, not Manchester United. We're running the positive again this morning because AMAD's return could be a lot sooner than we first thought. We have the other news, of course, as well. Manchester United looking at a playmaker. We discussed it last night a little bit, but why are we looking at Trincao again? The Portuguese dynamo, we could say, actually. I was going to say a different word then, the wrong one. But yeah, he is pulling up trees right now in Sporting, featuring for Portugal. Why Manchester United are going for him? Because other news is circulating as well about a target we have been talking about for months that could be going to one of our rivals. More on that in the show as well. A new goalkeeper high on the priority list. More news and more reports coming out about Lamens from Royal Antwerp being the number one target, and Andre Onana definitely not being Manchester United's number one. We're going to discuss all of that. Get your live comments in. We're slightly earlier this morning. We have plenty to do today. So thank you again for your input and your comments. Please get in there in the live chat now and get into the comments below as well when this live is finished if you're playing catch up. Let's get into the news and let's get a little bit excited about what? About this. AMAD's social media post last night. It's one of them smiley emoji faces and an egg timer. Now, we all know what this means. And you could say, Adam, stop being stupid. Stop getting overexcited. I know. I'm a very excitable person and I do like to get the positives out there when I can. You know that. It's not always negative. And this is massively positive for me because I know from being in and around Manchester United, getting the access that I've got sometimes, speaking to the staff and members of staff who look after the players, who are close to the players, who deal with the travel and organisation of things at Carrington and around the football club, that they would not allow one of the players to do something like this unless there was a really positive update. That is the way that it works in football. That's the way that it works at football clubs. And the people that I know at Manchester United, they organise the players, they deal with them in getting better with the media, introduce them to certain media, organise interviews, sometimes with us, social media influencers and other YouTube channels in mix zones and things like that. And we get to talk to them quite a lot. They would not be allowing players to social media posts like this if there wasn't any significant update around their injury or possible return. Now, we've seen AMAD walking out of Old Trafford and walking into Old Trafford with no protective boots, with no crutches, unaided. This was 2 weeks ago now. Move fast forward, we're heading into April now, and we've got this social media update from AMAD, and it is as positive as it looks. I can tell you this for nothing right now. I expect to see AMAD back in a Manchester United shirt in April. That May sort of timeline that we have been looking at, I think is a little bit too far out. I think he's going to be back sooner. Going off this and what's happening right now, obviously, with the recovery time that we've had, and I said how important this international break was going to be for Manchester United, with the likes of players returning from injury. Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Altay Bayindir, Harry Maguire, Kobbie Mainoo, all back training on grass. And it looks like the main man himself, the only one left in out of all of this, apart from Lenny Yoro, but I think he's back soon as well anyway, is AMAD. And AMAD's return could be that absolute booster that Manchester United needed going into the rest of this season. It's fantastic news, and I don't care if anybody thinks I'm overexcited about it or him coming back is a little bit premature. Stick it, swivel, as some numpties say sometimes. I would love to see AMAD back in a Manchester United shirt, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. AMAD at right wing back, with possibly Kobbie or Zirkzee or Garnacho in the 10s, with Rasmus in front, all players finding a little bit of form. The boost of AMAD on that side. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. And then the returns of Heaven, Yoro, Maguire at the back, and Mainoo coming back into midfield. Yeah. I'm a happy man. Compared to where I was, compared to where all Manchester United fans were going into, let's just say February, March time, wasn't great. But the form has come back a little bit. We've had some positivity on the pitch, and now off it, boom, there you go, Amad Diallo, and that is basically what he has put on his social media. He has pretty much told us that this is fast forwarding and we are going to be looking at a sooner return date for the maestro himself. And just to have him back and as an option is fantastic news for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim at a time as well where everybody is, like I've said, hitting a little bit of form. Nothing fantastic, don't get me wrong. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not thinking that Manchester United right now are just going to blast everybody away in this second part of the season, this last quarter of the season, and make it into the top 8 or something like that. Look, I do believe that United can make top 10. I think that has to be a target. Get up there, get up as many places as possible, get as much money for each Premier League place as possible. Let's make it a little bit respectable. And all in all, what we will look at then is Erik ten Hag leaving Manchester United in 13th. Absolutely shocking. And Manchester United finishing the season, not many places further up, and you could say there's not been much improvements. But if we finish in that top 10, having been left in 13th, with the squad having the power that it had and the player power FC absolutely spreading like wildfire throughout this football club, the culture of the club in the mud, now to have this structure in place where within the time of Erik ten Hag leaving and Ruben Amorim coming in, we've seen what could possibly happen in the transfer window with the likes of Aiden Heaven and Patrick Dorgu. We've seen the culture change with Anthony leaving, Malacia leaving, and Marcus Rashford leaving in that time as well. It being awful on the pitch at times, and these players looking like they really aren't professional enough to handle a new system coming in from Ruben Amorim. But in all of that, to come through it at the end and then finish positively and go into a summer with that culture and structure in place, all day long. Thank you. This was the fall we needed to bounce forward and really start making a big difference at this football club. And Amad's return could be the boost that gets us to that point where we can actually now start looking ahead. And you could come back at me all you want. Honestly, I'm looking at you right down the camera right now. I don't care. If you want to have a go at me, if you want to dig me out, slag me off, criticise me for saying that United should be aiming for a top 10, I don't care because I'm real, I'm honest, and I'm going to tell you right now, the situation that this football club was in compared to where it is now is better, is positive, and I think is definitely the first step on the road to bringing Manchester United back. And that is the most important thing, because everything you can talk about off the pitch, and you can drive whatever negative you want for off the pitch and what's happening with this football club, the only thing that really matters is what's happening on the pitch. And this news with Amad coming back sooner is a huge positive. So yeah, you can stick the negativity up your ass. I am negative at times when I need to be, but I will always look at things with an open mind and say exactly what I see. And what I see right now is many players returning who were in decent form. Heaven, Yoro, Maguire, could argue a bit, Amad, all of these players. Mainu possibly in a 10, because let's not forget that little role he played against Steaua Bucharest in the Europa League. That was his best game of the season. Options, options, options. Bruno playing the best that he's played at Manchester United. Manuel Ugarte and Collier interchanging into different positions. Casemiro and Eriksen doing their bits. Everyone on international duty firing. Dorgu's back from suspension. Dallow's looking a little bit better and more creative on the right-hand side because Dorgu's there right now. Mazraoui drops back into the back three as extra cover at centre-backs because we could have Amad Diallo back there on the right-hand side and Dallow to back him up as well. Boom. Come on, hit me back at that and tell me that that isn't positive news right now. And tell me that Manchester United aren't moving forward. I know, we are bottom half of the table. Steady on, Adam, calm down. Nah, I'm sick of the negative crap. I've said enough of it. I've been through enough of it. And I will be sat here in some of these games coming up being disappointed at certain players and a bit downbeat. I'm just going to tell you now, that's just the way it is. We're a fan channel. And we are Manchester United supporters who just want the best. And when we don't see the best, we have a little bit of a moan and we criticise everything that's going on. But when things aren't clearly as negative as what people are making out, I will come back and fight against that. Amad being back gives Ruben so many more options, I feel. And I think he's definitely the biggest positive that we've had over this last couple of months, as well as the results on the pitch and the attitude of these players. There is a tiny little turning of a corner here for United, and I'm jumping all over it because I can see where this is actually working. So that cryptic clue, if you didn't see it or you have no idea what I'm talking about, you might have just joined us on the show. This was it, just to round up the Amad news and situation and why he's on our thumbnail. This was his message last night. I think it was Snapchat that he put it on. The egg timer and the smiley face. You know what that means. And like I said earlier on, United staff would not allow AMAD to be dropping things like that on social media unless there was a definite bit of good news in terms of his return. This would probably mean to me that Amad Diallo is now looking ahead and has got his recovery dates and everything he needs to do to be back playing again for Manchester United. He would feel confident in walking around in out of his protective boot, off crutches, and now he's spoken to medical staff at United and they would have told him the process, what he's got to do, his rehab work that he has to do, but he would have probably got a time scale. And that's why he's posted something like this. And this is where we can now start to count down the days to Amad's return. So absolutely mega news on that front. Let's get into the chat. Let's see what you all saying about this. Are you as positive as me? I've not looked at the chat once yet, so I'm going to come in blind right now. I could be coming into a barrage of stop overreacting critique coming my way right now, but I'm feeling that my audience is quite the positive. So let's have a little gander. Let's fancy a butcher's and see what is going on. First of all, we do have some members to mention. Lee Cape Town, thank you, my friend. Absolutely loved that. Joining the Mad Red 2 membership club. We do have a couple more donated. Boxing Straight Talk is back in the members club, and so too is Paramount, gifted by Manny Melos and Huggles Legends. Thank you very much, everybody. If you are a new member, welcome along to the members club, people. We've just hit the 100 like mark as well, which means that everybody is feeling a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more optimistic this morning, which is good. It's very good. And you've all got up a little bit earlier to watch the show as well, so you're all absolutely buzzing. I know it. But it is fantastic news for Manchester United. I can just see, look, just scrolling through some of these comments here and reading into some of what everyone's opinions are and the vibe going on right now. I can see it. Yeah, in terms of Luke Shaw, yeah, we haven't had them pictures yet because this has all happened in and around international break. And do you know what, when I say that international break came at the right time, now you're going into it, and me and Jay were talking about this the other day, the last game actually. Me and Jay were talking about this and how important international break was or it wasn't, i.e., do we feel like it's come at the right time? Do we feel like it's hampered Manchester United's form? Because we were picking up results. We were picking up results, weren't we? So Manchester United coming into this period, I thought, you know what, with the players that we're missing and 2 weeks now for them to start recovering and bringing players back in, I'm actually looking at this and going, no, I think international break is going to do us good. And look at the form. Look at Højlund scoring goals and creating chances. Look at Dorgu's performance, Christian Eriksen's performance, Mazraoui's performances. You've only got to look at them and think, that'll do. Even on Andre Onana keeping a clean sheet as well. I'll take any little positive right now going into the end of the season. But what it has done is give us the opportunity to bring back, 5 or 6 players, first-team players, from defence to attack. It's huge because I talked about the possibility of Mainu coming into a number 10 role there. Let's not forget, Mason Mount has been available on Manchester United's bench versus Leicester, and now he's had 2 full weeks, even more with United playing on the Tuesday, to get back fit and match sharp, and there's been no repercussions or issues with Mason Mount over the international break. He's fit, he's available. Him, Zirkzee, Garnacho, Mainu as your 10s, Rasmus Højlund as your number 9. Maybe Chido coming in at times as well. Amad at right wing back, backed up by Collier, Ugarte, Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes. And then you've got all the defenders coming back as well. Boom shakalaka. That is exactly where we needed to be. And I think that international break has come at the exact right time. Hot take, Jonathan will be better for us than Osimhen. I actually don't think, Marcus, that is a bad shout at all, mate. I'm with you. And I've beat that drum. But sounded so wrong, that, didn't it? Yeah, I've banged that drum so many times for Jonathan David. Honestly, I would take him in a heartbeat. I would take both of them. Give me Osimhen and Jonathan David. Yeah, I could feel myself getting overexcited now, so we'll curb this. Super chat in from You Got Raws. Mega super chat, mate. Thank you so much for that. Adam, Do you know if insurance on salary is a thing in the UK? In baseball, if a player gets hurt for a large portion of the season, they get paid, but the team can recoup over 80% of their wages if it is a long-term injury. Honestly, it's not my area of expertise. I'm not too sure, mate, to be honest, Roz. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. There is obviously insurance in football. There has to be. There has to be. I mean, I knew it, and I had it when I was playing at lower level. Like, you going into grassroots and semi-pro, there is insurance in football at that level. So I'm guessing, obviously, highest level, elite players, Premier League and all over Europe, there must be in some form of insurance. I just don't know too much or enough about it, Rose, mate. It's a good point because I know that's big in America, especially with the contracts that them guys get over there in terms of them huge salaries and what them franchises can actually afford to pay out. It is a big part of it. So, yeah, I think it is there, mate, but I'm just not too sure or 100% certain that it is as big, I would say, as the American version in American sports and all of that jazz. But, yeah, I just look at any sort of Manchester United contract now going forward, whether you look at the insurance side of it or details of it, I've said this before, I'll mention it quickly again. I just think Manchester United's structure and what I just talked about there in the club moving forward, off the pitch and on it a little bit, that these structures of deals now are going to be a completely different ball game for Manchester United. And I do believe that it is moving in the right direction in that area. And I'm not having anybody convince me that these contracts that these players are getting right now are bad contracts, especially not from last summer going forward right now. They're not. We have got some young quality players, and I'm actually glad that it's actually come to a head with Kobbie Mainoo and other players as well. You only have to look at what's actually happening right now at Manchester United, and you can clearly see the difference in what them contracts were before to where they are now. And you know what? I think Mainoo will sign a deal. But the fact that we've stood up to a player and his agent is exactly the point I'm trying to make here in how Manchester United have progressed with how they run as a football club from the football side of things. Because we've known for years that this is where we've fallen down. So, yeah, I'm all right with it. I really am okay with where the club is actually at right now. Super chat in from Manny. Thank you, buddy. I believe AMAD will probably get some small minutes in a week or two, but I think he won't be fully match fit until Wolves. Look, I think any time going into, let's just see the games coming up against West Ham or Wolves, for instance, at home, coming up towards the back end of the month. By the way, everybody, I'm just going to actually drop a link to football prizes into the actual chat right now. Actually, no, I can't, because it's the wrong one. But what I've got is, we've got, with football prizes, tickets on offer, 39p a ticket for football prize. In fact, I need to get this up for you all, actually, because I want to give people a chance to actually see Manchester United play this season. I cannot let you go without giving you the opportunity to actually see what we've got on offer with football prizes. Our other one of our sponsors here on Forever United TV. Just give me a moment. I'll just bring this up now. Right, so I'll pop the link into the live chat now. So what is available right now for you on football prizes? We have tickets to the West Ham game, the Wolves game, and the Manchester derby. This all for the price of 39p to enter the draw. Yeah, 39p. If you cannot buy yourself 5 tickets with that, you're never going to be able to enter one of these competitions. But when you look at the prizes that are also available on this link that is there in the chat right now, I've just dropped it in and pinned it up there, everybody. So go and check that out as well. Get involved in that draw. 39p, you can be at the Wolves game, VIP, with all expenses paid, the Manchester derby and the West Ham game coming up. There is also signed shirts from about 25 different Manchester United players in that same draw. 39p could get you any of them prizes. Get into that right now and just give yourself a chance. There are thousands of tickets available. Buy as many as you can. Spend to your means. Don't overspend, obviously. I will be doing. I will be entering this competition myself, and if I do win the prize or any of the prizes that are on offer, I'm going to buy up quite a few of these tickets. And if any of them come through in my name, I will be donating them for free to one of the subscribers. First come members, obviously, as well. But if you want to give yourself a chance to be in it and get the chance to actually be at Old Trafford, do get involved in that, everybody. It's a great prize. You'll see all of the different options that are there in terms of things that you can win for 39p. For God's sake, give yourself, spend a quid and get a few tickets. That's what I would say. Be in it, everyone. Okay, let's have a look at what else is happening at Manchester United in terms of other news as well. I mean, when you look at the transfer situation right now, what I would say is I'm looking at Trincao. Trincao to Manchester United is a real thing. The tabloids are running with this. Manchester United are definitely in for Trincao from Sporting. Now, the situation with this is it's not really complex. Francisco Trincao, it's a player at Sporting. If you're wondering if you've heard the name and you remember the name and what you actually what you're thinking right now is, where have I heard that before? I've seen this guy perform. Yeah, he was the one that was playing for Portugal. He was the one that was playing for Portugal the other night and scored 2 goals off the bench for them. He is hitting massive numbers for Sporting. We touched on him yesterday, and we talked about the possibility of Manchester United going in for Trincao. He's doing great for Portugal. Still not even a first-team regular. 2 years left to run on his contract at Sporting. A player that Ruben Amorim knows very well. He's an attacking, versatile, creative midfielder, so a 10. He'll be one of the 10s if he comes into Manchester United. Trincao is a player that was loaned out to Sporting from Barcelona. Now, Barcelona's input into this is they can buy him back for 20 million. The release clause that Sporting have got on Trincao is 50 million. Right now to everybody else. So this is similar to what United did with Alvaro Fernandez. So when you look at Trincao, when you look at what he brings and the quality he is, 24 goal involvements just for Sporting. This is without the international involvements. Like you seen the other night, he came on off the bench, scored 2 goals. This is a player that Manchester United need to get their hands on. He has got everything that Ruben Amorim needs. His work rate, his skill, composure, vision is everything that Manchester United are looking for in that 10 role. And 50 million does seem a little bit steep for Manchester United right now. 50 million does seem like it's out of Manchester United's it's out of Manchester United's affordability from what we've got with minimal finances. And definitely being out of Europe could cause an issue for Manchester United with this one. Barcelona have got a sell-on clause with Trincao as well. Now, that could be an issue because it's going to mean that Sporting want to drive up the price to get as much money as possible. Because obviously, if they've only going to receive 50% of any sell-on profits for Trincao, then obviously it's not going to be that much and they can't really reinvest it back in. They've already sold players this season to Chelsea, as we know, recouping over 60 million already. And Sporting really are looking at their players right now. We know that they are a selling club. We know that they always sell players. One thing you can say is that with Man United, we do have a good relationship with Sporting. And there is a good communication between both clubs. Obviously, the Ruben factor and previous years of signings and what we've actually done business-wise with Sporting is there for everybody to see. But I think this one is interesting because Barcelona really can't afford to buy him back. They have their other options going forward that they need to, and their PSR situation is quite dire compared. So they are not really back in the market for Trincao for that 20 million. So I think we could possibly remove them. Look, they may think he's good enough to come back in. I can't see it at the moment with the way that their finances are. So there's an opportunity here. Manchester United, the reports are saying in several different columns today, including the Mirror and a few publications online, that United are not willing to pay the 50 million relief clause. They're willing to possibly go up to 35, 40 million. Now, that is the type of player Manchester United really need to be going for, I feel. I think it's a good player to get for United because it brings you that creativity and understanding. I don't mind Portuguese players. They all seem to do well for us. I'm just saying, obviously. And I want your comments in below on this one as well about Trincao. Would you rather buy Trincao or would you rather go and buy Tyler Diblin? Because that's the difference right now. Manchester United apparently have fallen down the pecking order and are behind the likes of Spurs and Manchester City for the signing of Tyler Diblin. Now, if Diblin is going to be 25 to 35, maybe even 40 million, some noises coming out on reports on Diblin and this transfer from Southampton. If they're driving a 40 million bargain, would you prefer to bring in a 25-year-old who is going to give you, what, let's just say 7 years? I'm not just saying this, but the Portuguese players, oh my God, like there is something in the water. They last forever, don't they? And you look at the injury record for them all, for God's sake, like no one ever gets injured. Touch wood. Bruno Fernandes, Dalot, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, all of these type of players, like they're absolute beasts, aren't they? I think if you're looking at a 25-year-old who is doing it now, who is in the prime of his career, is that not what Manchester United need more than a Tyler Diblin? I'm just putting the argument across because I like Diblin and I would like United to invest. But how many times have we sat here on shows and said that Manchester United need to be buying ready-made quality players as well as younger potential players? We cannot just sit by and let these potential players find their feet. Ruben doesn't have time for that. The fans have lost patience for that. And where we love younger players coming through, would we not want our own younger players coming through at Manchester United? Would we not want our own youngsters coming through our academy? Players like Ibrahimov, Scanlon, Brian Carey, Obi Martin, you know what I mean? Like Sekou Kone as well. All of these players and more coming through at United, rather than giving somebody else a shed load of money for their players, i.e. Chris Rigg, Joe Bellingham. I mean, I like Hackney at Middlesbrough, and if you can get him at the right deal, I think it's a good buy for Manchester United. But when we're talking about the absolute quality and ready-to-go type of player, 2 years left on his contract and an opportunity this summer, if United can move on the players that are looking to move on. This is why Sancho yesterday was so significant and why I went back at people who were coming at me for talking about Sancho and this deal being important for Manchester United to get right. Because 25 million for Sancho is money for Trincao or a player like that. 35, 40 million for Antony is money for Trincao. His wages are going to be nowhere near what them players are. Marcus Rashford being sold. This is where Manchester United make the room for players like Trincao. Because you could go and spend, let's say, 40 million on him and then go and get Jonathan David on a free. That transforms Manchester United's attack in an instant for peanuts. Both players are on very affordable wages, and I think is where United need to be going. Look, go on then, Spurs and City. Go and take that young British talent and bring Diblin in, and Manchester United are licking their wounds a little bit, maybe. But honestly, I just think that United need to be buying that 25-year-old player. And if there's an option there, he knows Ruben Amorim, and there is a release clause, you know what? Go and invest in the pitch. And if you are fully invested into this Ineos and they want to make sure that Manchester United are competing again, then go out and spend that money on a player that is really going to change Manchester United now and will give us more than half a decade of quality going forward. 25 is the exact age type of player United need, and I think Trincao is 100% that player that definitely needs to be one of Manchester United's targets. And I'm buzzing that we're actually looking at players like this, because it does switch the focus away from looking to the future and actually feeling like, you know what, we have got a future, but we do need something now. And Trincao is exactly the right type of player. Please do subscribe to Forever United TV. Give me your comments in on Trincao as well. Is he the right man for Manchester United? And obviously as well, give this video a like as well, everybody. Trincao to United, 40 million. Do we go for it? Okay, into the live comments we go. We have got a few super chats quickly to get through. My priorities would be CM, CDM, and right wing back. Trincao ticks the CM role for me, says Mane. Yep, I think so, mate. I would love it if United picked up Diamande, and he isn't Portuguese. He is from the Ivory Coast. I stopped buying Portuguese players. I've been warned. Matt Ross with another super chat. Thank you, mate. Should be the medical staff, not the players updating us. It should be, but this is the new world. This is the new world. And let's be honest, when are we ever going to get anything significant coming out of Manchester United telling us exactly what's going on? It never bleeding happens, does it, mate? And cheers for the comment, and thanks for all the super chats, everybody. We're about to hit the 200 live like mark. Thank you, everyone. We've got well over 1,000 in the room. Let's get some comments in on that as well. Please do drop your comments in below. Because I am short on time today, I'm going to come back on this. I'm going to make another separate video on the Trincao transfer. I think that's quite significant for Manchester United's summer, so I'm going to drop something else up on the channel later on today around about lunchtime on that as well. But Manchester United's goalkeeping situation is something else that I want to get into as well, and that being that Senator Lamens from Royal Antwerp being Ruben Amorim's top targets. All the reports are going down this road right now. This is actually gathering pace that Manchester United are definitely going to be bringing in a goalkeeper this summer. We've said this many a times, but Lamens at Royal Antwerp, 30 million. I think United could possibly get him cheaper. I mean, going off his market value, it's not that much. 30 million is because he is that good and sought after. Very young as well. Early 20s. Could be Manchester United's new David De Gea. That's the sort of noises that are coming out on this one as well. I want all of your comments in on Lamens as well as the goalkeeper. In fact, do just drop your name of goalkeeper in the chat right now. Tell me, I'm just going to run through a load of players. Give me a goalkeeper that you think United should go for this summer. Be realistic as well with this. And go with me and say someone you think we can afford, someone you think is gettable, and someone you think is going to be a future goalkeeper for United. And he's obviously better than Andre Onana. Give him, let me go. Let's see. Oblak all day long, says Peter. I don't think he's gettable, personally. I don't think we're going to get him. Oblak, Kelleher. I don't think we'll get a Liverpool player. Vitek, who's already here, says Jonatek. True. Kovar. No, we're not bringing Kovar back. I don't think it's going to happen. Suzuki, we could have had him in. Could have had him for peanuts. James Trafford, says Kieran. Henderson, James Trafford, Vitek. Lunin, yep. Lunin, possibly. Lunin from Real Madrid. Vitek. You see what I mean? How many different options are out there? There is a real world and a reality that tells us that we can get a decent goalkeeper this summer. Matt Ryan has Premier League experience, says Mane. Bayende and Vitek, says Andrew. A lot of people are going with what we've got as well. Yes. Good morning, Adam, and my Man United family lock up from the Caribbean. Will be eligible for the tickets. In terms of the football prizes, yes, you will, but you would have to organise your own travel. So, yeah, and it is a draw, it is a raffle, so there's no guarantee you're going to win. But for 39p, yeah, it should give you plenty of time. The draw is going to be in 10 days' time as well. So plenty of time before these games happen to organise travel for anybody as well. Get involved. That link there, football prizes, do get into it, everybody. Jordan Pickford, says Andrew Jones. Don't know. I don't know about that one. Vikings saying Trafford as well. Chevalier, yep, the realist. Another player that Manchester United are looking at from Lille, definitely. This is Sociedad keeper. Ramiro, I don't know, to be honest. I know he played against us, but I think there are better keepers out there. No one's saying Lamens at the moment. Maybe it is because we don't know enough about these players, but again, I've said this before. We shouldn't know everything about every single player that's coming into Manchester United. We shouldn't know everything about every player that's being scouted. We should be relying on Manchester United's recruitment team to actually find these players and bring them to us. That's what needs to happen, I feel, more than anything. And I think we are starting to see that now as well in some of these players. Look, I like the younger players. I like these players coming through. I like what they're going to bring to Manchester United. I really do. But I think the experience factor needs to be part of it as well. So, yeah, that I think is definitely... I think it's definitely an area of the recruitment side of things that needs to be not so much discussed, but obviously it will be discussed, but I think we do need to have that experienced player. Martinez from Villa. Okay, in a perfect world, Raj, yes, I would take Martinez in a heartbeat. You can throw in David Raya from Arsenal as well if you want, or maybe Alisson from Liverpool. If we could get Kelleher from Liverpool, I would take him straight away. I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper, but we're never going to be able to buy a Liverpool player, and they're never going to do us a favour. So we can forget about that one. But he is a very, very good goalkeeper. Ellen says, bring David De Gea back. Diagonal Costa. I don't know if that was a typo or if you meant that one. Joe Garcia. Can we get Dave back, says Manny. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Still plenty of life left in David De Gea by the look of it over at Fiorentina. Still can't believe he managed to have a year out. But hey, this is what happens. Look, that is the show this morning, everybody. I've got things to do. I've got to get going in a minute. But like I said, I will drop some more content in later on today, which I want your opinions on. So please look out for that. It's going to be around about 1 o'clock today. Yeah, I want all of your comments in on that. I want to get some opinions. Thank you so much for all of the super chats. Thank you for all the likes. Over 1,100 in the room, even on an earlier show. It's fantastic. Well over 200 live likes as well, everybody. Thank you so much. I will be back later. Anyone who has just subscribed, thank you. We are less than 100 away from 75,000 subscribers. Get to it, everyone, if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. Give the video a like on the way out. I'll see you all later on. Have a great one, people. International break, one more day down.